For normal people like you and me, and in general, in order to achieve peace and happiness, inner peace and happiness, karma yoga is recommended by Krishna. And what he defines by karma yoga is that you don't have to have any drastic changes to your lifestyle, but any action and every action that we are performing, do it as perform those actions as a sacrifice, as a yajna. Another alternative word for yajna, in case if you are not able to appreciate that word, is puja, deva puja. Now, puja is a simple word that we all know. When we perform some puja to on occasions to any god, that is the puja, right? That is also called yajna. So yajna and puja are one and the same. Now, what he means here, that every action that you do should be done as a yajna or puja, is that when we do the puja, how will we do? The sincerity will be there in our mind, and we don't want any personal thing, but everything has to be first offered and the puja needs to be performed. Everything is for God, right? That mindset is there. The same mindset when we are doing that puja has to be there while performing all the actions in our life. That is the meaning that any action should be done as a yajna. So when we do our actions, it can include anything. Waking up in the morning, it has to be a yajna. Again, yajna means puja. And when we go brush your teeth, it has to be a yajna. When we do it as a puja, if you start doing it, we will start observing that every action that we do will have some kind of a grace to it, because it is performed as a puja in and itself. All the normal actions that we do perform at home, if you look at it, as an individual, we all have some basic maintenance activities that we do every day, right? Wake up in the morning, cleanse ourselves, and to eat, and clothing, everything that we perform to maintain ourselves as a human in this society. That is one group of actions. That is just necessity, a bare absolute necessity that one has to perform. The next set of actions is those actions that we perform for um, others, especially at home. Maybe helping, or my kids have to go to school, so I'm just doing some actions to helping them to get ready for school. Or if they have already graduated out of school, I prepare some food for them, or I just speak to them to check with them how they are doing. These are all actions that we perform not for ourselves. We don't have anything in us in mind, but we perform. It's my daughter, it's my husband or my wife, I will have to do that, right? These actions are next level of actions, next group of actions that we perform for the people at home. And that also, if you observed, we will do it a little bit of not attached to ourselves. We don't derive, we don't attach, we don't expect anything. We will just do it, preparing food at kitchen, or dropping them off at school or at work, or any such thing. Everything that is just performed, that also should have that yajna mindset. I'm doing it, every action, talking to my daughter or getting food prepared for my kids, or my husband or my wife, if imagine that if those actions are performed just like a puja, the grace will naturally be there. So we are not, if one is performing the actions that way, then that person will never get mad or angry if things didn't go the way they wanted it, because they are already doing it as a puja. It will never go wrong in the first place. Because when we perform the puja, imagine an occasion, Krishna Jayanti or Sri Rama's birthday, Sri Rama Navami or Ganesha Puja, whatever that you are performing at home, we will plan well in advance, isn't it? We'll make sure that we don't want to miss anything for the puja. And so we will just bring all our attention to it, make sure all things are in place, and that 2 hour puja goes smoothly. The priest will be invited, and we will give him all respects, and we will make sure everything he asks is provided. And during those occasion, our mind will be at peace and relaxed, and everything happened well, and at the end of it we get the prasad, we are happy, and we will let everyone know that the puja went very well. Yag- Yajna is nothing but a puja. Every action we perform itself should be that way. That is what Krishna is now asking us to do. Why only during that puja time you are so sincere and devoted, by while doing other actions, your own actions to maintain your body, or when you are performing actions for people at home, or if it is for others, why there is any difference at all? Even if you are volunteering or you are doing even working at office, right? We are doing a work, and if anyone is asking anything, any help, interacting with colleagues, that shouldn't make any difference at all. As long as that yajna bhavam, that mindset of puja is there, when interacting with them, they ask a few things. We are interacting with people at work, so that we do an yajna, whatever that can be. It can be something like, I want to prepare a document, I want to write some program, a code, or some meeting, or anything. Everything is for that. I don't know the reason, maybe interconnected, but I have that bhavam, I have that mindset within me built already, because I every action I perform already, I'm doing it as an yajna. So there is nothing, no difference in terms of action, this action, that action, there is no difference. Every action is performed as an yajna to him. All that is seen is that Deva, that Lord, that Krishna, who is sitting, and we are just doing it for him. That mindset. Now, once we start doing that, then there is nothing like, this person I like, so I will do him this. I will do it this way. That person I don't like, so I will do it to him in a different way. So such kind of differentiations never arises, because as far as we are concerned, that action goes out of us. It is issuing out of us. We are using these hands to do that action. We are using these eyes, our own eyes, to do that action. And so the expectation here is yajna should be performed by that individual. Action should be performed by that individual as an yajna. So I don't see this, that, he, she, him, her. It is all actions to me. So there is no variation in that at all. That is the way to perform the karma yoga, which is the easiest. Jnana yoga, which is the other route, entirely different. That involves a lot of analytical reasoning, that involves deep meditative research, where one has to go inside deep and sit hours together to know the full truth, and then establish in that truth. Then we get that internal peace and happiness. So this that route is not for definitely for us, but this route, which is the path of karma yoga, is the ideal one for us, where actions has to be performed as yajna or puja. Now, how do we build that habit? easiest way to start is every simple action that we perform. For example, wake up in the morning or brush your teeth. Everything, all we need to do is one that magic word that has been already invented. We'll have to mentally say that word. Krishna Arpanam Astu. Krishna Arpanam Astu. So Krishna Arpanam Astu. That word means Arpanam is offering. Astu is let it be. Krishna, you all know. So let this be an offering to Krishna, which is nothing but precisely the yajna bhava. That every action I do, Krishna Arpanam Astu. The action that right now I'm doing, right? We are in this call and I'm speaking and I'm explaining the meanings of this Bhagavad Gita verses. Again, I should have a mindset that I am not doing this. And even though I am the one who is performing this action, I have to perform this action as an yajna. I'm doing it for him without any motive of I am doing. Right? The moment I am doing, then there is that ego aspect to it. I will fall into the trap of ego. Right? And this is my meeting. This is my meeting and I am doing. So I am doing is that ego aspect of it. Ego is not that I'm not referring to that bad ego, which is again that is entirely different. I can be even humble to you. I need not show that it's my meeting. I'm not talking about that. I can be even so humble. This is also ego. In a sense, like internally, I'm having a imagination that I am doing, right? That is also incorrect. So humble I, where I constantly think about I am the one who is doing these actions, that is also not correct, should not be there. And this is my audience, this is my meeting. So that ahankaram, which is the I, and mamakaram, which is the mind, this should die for internal peace and happiness. And how do you get rid of that ahamkaram and mamakaram? The only way is to not accept that you are doing, which is true actually, that we will understand in the later verses of Bhagavad Gita. I am not doing, but even though my hands and my brain is involved in it, I am doing it as a yajna. So that thought, if we have it, then that I ego will slowly disappear from us. Pride. If pride is there, then there is no way that we can get internal peace and happiness. People go around the world looking for peace, happiness. What can I do? I will spend whatever money, wealth, resources. Pride is there. Pride is need not be that incorrect ego pride. It can be the humble pride also. But I'm doing. That is there, then there is no internal peace or happiness. So that we cannot directly get rid of it, because we have been used to keep on doing and assuming that I'm doing everything. Even the mobile phone I spoke, I asked them not to do it. They have been saying something, I blasted them. That I feeling is quite natural to them if you think about it, right? So it's not easy to get rid of it, but it has to be done without even that I feeling. So mothers, some of you are mothers, you might most likely would appreciate that mothers do it to their children, out of fathers also for that matter, out of just that it's not mine, I'm doing it, we are just doing it for the kid. If you ask them why are you doing so much of love, it's just that they have to be happy and I don't want them to get into any kind of, that's why I'm doing it. So it's not there, we don't have that I feeling, that motherly love and affection, right? That we need to build. Right now we have it a little bit, but only with our kids we have, but that has to expand to the entire universe. That is when the true happiness is. When I see a neighbor of mine, I should have the same amount of affection as I see my own member, right, inside my home. Whatever I see, see that at least I don't have to feel that affection or attraction, but at least I should not have any hatred. But how do I get rid of that hatred? Right? Most of the people we love in this world, but for that person, and you know who that person is, because that person is different for each one of us, right? Those two people in my life, I don't like them. Rest of the people I'm okay with. Rest of the people we are okay with because we have not interacted with them or they have not interacted with us that closely. That is why we are okay with the rest of the world. But those two people who we interact with closely, and that is where our true nature is showing up, right? And that is because of that I part that I am doing. This is my relatives or this is my friend who is troubling me. Again, that I, me, mine, that is incorrect understanding within ourselves, and those that has to slowly get erased from our mind. And that will happen only when we start doing small actions with a mindset of puja or yajna. Tomorrow morning when we are packing up lunch for kids, let's say, I'm doing it, still we will not have it. But if we should not even get that even for others also. That's why when a simple lunch preparation, Krishna Arpanamastu, I did that action, I did it. It's not I did it. Krishna Arpanamastu. Whatever action I did, I don't want to take ownership for it. But so actions Krishnarpanamastu. Actions Krishnarpanamastu. That Krishnarpanamastu should be something like a mantra in order to get rid of that ego part of it. Anything that we do, even eating, when we are eating, we will indulge, right? So once we start indulging, we will start eating a lot. The moment you say that Krishnarpanamastu, what is happening is in every action. So one thing is why I'm making all these actions, why Krishnarpanamastu. I know for karma yoga we'll have to get rid of the ego part of it, and the only way to get rid of ego part of it is saying Krishnarpanamastu. But still I'm not able to accept as a valid reason why I should be doing it, right? One thing, if you look at it, we don't want to say that openly as Krishnarpanamastu because we still see that we are the one who is involved in these actions and we are performing it, and we don't want to offer it. But the trap there is we are stuck to the effects of our ill effects of the mind. There is no pattern, there is no way to break that pattern. Right now we are all in a that the delusion between us who's truly that I, right? We are not able to see that I, and mind is creating that delusion. The only way to break the delusional mental pattern is to attribute, not to accept it, but to attribute it. Another reason is the moment you start saying that Krishnarpanamastu, you'll become more aware. See that these days, mindfulness, awareness, they people have created wonderful words to go with it, and then mindful meditation, a big business. Huh? These days, people create something like wonderful words, jargons. Karma yoga is nothing but mindfulness, awareness. You ask me how, I'll tell you. The moment you say Krishnarpanamastu, I'll bet you start from tonight after this meeting. Every action that you do, say Krishnarpanamastu. Even if you eat, say something, put in your mouth, or help someone, or anything. I mean, even if they acknowledge your work, right? Krishnarpanamastu. Mind, we don't have to say to them. I wish that the whole world accepts that. Then we can say instead of you're welcome, can say Krishnarpanamastu. They also should equally recognize that. But in the absence of that, at least we can mentally say that Krishnarpanamastu, right? The moment we start saying that, it's not that easy. The reason is you need to be totally present in that moment to know that I am doing this act. I mean, it's not I am doing this action. We are involved in this action, right? And once we are involved in this action is should be performed with puja mindset, and so it has to be with grace, perfection, purity, and that can nothing half-heartedness, all those things should not be there. Prejudice should never be there, right? So we will naturally we are orienting ourselves, and we are removing lot of negative impurities that can pop in and destroy the work that we are about to do, right? And at the end of the day, we wanted to do that work neatly. We don't want any influence, negative influence to affect the outcome, right? By being mindful that we are involved in an action, and that action needs to be performed as a yajna or puja, we ourselves are perfecting that action. And once that is done that way, then you will once your mind is naturally oriented, you then at that time alignment happens. If you look at it, the moment you are aware, what is awareness? Awareness is not just a mental activity. If you look at it, awareness operates as thoughts in the mind. Thought should be there first when we are performing that action, and the next thing is immediately words should match thoughts in your mind. So your words should align with the thinking process. You cannot think that this and then you cannot say something differently. People, most of the people do that. That's what we see, and we know for sure that it is incorrect. It is wrong to do that, right? It is dishonest. You think that why did this person I should entertain now in your mind, and then words will be like, oh, you're welcome anytime. I always welcome people, guests, but should I do it? That is in my mind. That we all have it, we cannot help it, but that has to go away from us. That is the whole idea. How can we get inner peace when we have two personalities, right? You talk one and then you think other. So this entire process has to align. And another step, thinking is one, words are another, hands, actions are totally different. That is one more level of complexity, right? Your actions will be totally not body language, right? So actions has to match the words has to match the thoughts. That is when we are a true individual, true personality, and that alignment, we cannot go and go to anyone to fix that alignment. A psychiatrist or psychologist, or they will never know what is happening inside us. It's a laboratory within ourselves. Our mind, our body system is a laboratory, and that laboratory, we alone know how to operate in that laboratory. We can perform experiments, and we can alternate, we can adapt, we can learn, we can make ourselves a better human. Only ourselves can do. Psychologist, psychiatrist, marginal. There's, all those are for people who are extreme, just critical. Maybe they can bring them down to a little bit normal, but not forever still. That individual will have to do it. So that three alignment of our existence, we are existing at that three levels. We are not just one single body, a lump of body, right? Our individual existence is at physical level. We do a lot of actions, and we speak, and we analyze it in our mind. So all those has to synchronize perfectly for us to project a better personality outside. That will happen only when we get rid of that I, and only when we act with mindfulness. And that mindfulness, this is the only way, by being aware of every action that we are involved in. And how can we be aware of it? By knowing that we are in that action right now, I'm speaking to you, right? I should be aware of it. But most of the actions that I'll I will just ask you to observe today. Many actions that we do during the day, we are not even aware of it. Mechanically, we are performing actions and we are just going on. And physical actions by hands and legs at least are okay, right? We are just driving home and then we prepare food and then we eat, which is at least to some extent okay. Actions with our mouth, speaking, talking to others. If you imagine, most of the responses that we give will be like, I just, without being aware of what words flow out of our mouth. Especially important when we are in a critical situation, when the arguments go on and on and on, then we will be just reactive. Our system will just react to patterns that were stored in our mind without we being aware of what words we are speaking, right? That at that time, slow down. That's the reason people are asked to say slow down at that time. Do not react, respond. Because when you're responding, you're being mindful. You're slowing down your system and observing yourself what is happening. Oh, I'm riling up right now. If I say a word, then it will be hard. It's going to hurt the other one badly. Let me not say. Maybe the other person is not aware of it. Doesn't mean that we should just let our tongue do its job just because we have the tongue, right? So that is more important. And then one more level is our thoughts. Thoughts are worst because it just goes on and on and on and on, replaying the past events. How can we arrest that? By being aware. That's why mindfulness is very important. For example, I'm just sitting here, you may be just sitting here, few of you, and then your thoughts may be dwelling elsewhere, right? But your body is physically here. Again, it's not synchronized. Your physical element is not synchronized with your mental element, because you might be thinking about what should I prepare for dinner or what should be for tomorrow, right? Again, it's already hijacked your mind. So that is what we have to be aware of it. Oh, I meant to be here, I want to be physically present here, so my mind should also be here. Why is it going elsewhere? So that's what example that I gave last time when we are reciting Vishnu Sahasranama. The thing that will happen is people will just say, 2 weeks, next weekend, we will assemble for Vishnu Sahasranama. We'll sit, assemble, start. Once Yama Subbulakshmi video will also start playing, we will all start with Vishwam Vishnur Vashatkaro. We will be aware of it only up to 20 verses. After that, minds will start already drifting elsewhere. And then we will start thinking like, oh, still 80 more verses to go. And then we will again start drifting. But mouth will be reciting the mantras. Mouth will be almost like Veda, 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 Vidavyango, Vedango, nicely repeating if you observe it. But mind is elsewhere. Mind is not even aware of the body that is present in here in this moment at around 6:40. I'm here in this person's house or anywhere, wherever we are residing. Mind is not even aware of it. Mind is just dwelling on maybe the past events or all those things is what is really affecting our personality as our being, right? So karma yoga needs presence of mind, bringing all our mental energy together and performing the action, and while performing the action being aware of that action and do that action as a yajna. And as we perform that action, we benefit ourselves or others. Once we benefit ourselves or others, that is called the prasadam, right? Once you perform the puja, what do you get? Prasadam. That prasadam, when we are accepting, again do not accept that prasadam as, oh, I got this prasadam, mine. That mine feeling will come. That's why offer that prasadam also to him and take the remnants of that prasadam. whatever that is remains. That doesn't mean the rest of thing we should not take it. That we will see how to take. What does it mean by remains of it? That we will see. But that is when the mind feeling will go away, right? So that is why that is how we need to perform the actions as a yajna. Then we are working on ourselves. Karma yoga, karma means work, right? So it doesn't mean whatever work that we are doing. That also means work inside, the inside work that we do within our mind to make ourselves a better version. So 2.0, 1.0 we know already. What are all our strengths and weaknesses, likes and dislikes, and we know our own, aware of our own limitations. So 2.0, we will have to evolve ourselves to a better. For that, the only way is to start practicing the karma yoga, which is doing action as a yajna and offering the results again to himself. And in the last week's shloka, we spoke about devas. Devas are the demigods. Demigods have been appointed by Krishna, that super soul, right? Krishna, Vishnu, Narayana. He has appointed the demigods to monitor, make sure that these people are doing their actions as a yajna. And when we do it as a yajna, they have been instructed to bless us with desired results. Desired not necessarily means that we will desire anything. All that is needed for the betterment of our life. We don't have to worry about it. Our life, our children's life will be taken care of. That is what the assurance that he is giving. That's what we are going to see in the next uh, verses. So we don't have to. The problem starts when I start to think like, oh, it's my life. I'll have to make sure it's. Of course, it is my life. I'll have to be responsible for my life. No one is saying that just be reckless and then do whatever everything to him. No, do not go that way. But the moment I start to think that I will have to accumulate, I will have to take care of my children. Those are all we will have to, but basic necessities providing them and all, nobody rejects, denies that. But that thought should not overwhelm us. Even for simple actions, it should not overwhelm us that okay, it's my children, I'm doing it. That is how we are going narrow. We are narrowing down our mindset. Our mind should literally burst out, explode, saying that if I have the same amount of love for my people, why can't I have the same amount of love and affection for others as well? Because that is an individual, this is an individual. That will happen. That is a result when we start the first step now. Right? So that for that, devas are equipped. That is what we saw in the last week's shloka. We will proceed with this week's. Okay. यज्ञशिष्टाशिनः सन्तो मुच्यन्ते सर्वकिल्बिषैः भुञ्जते त्वे त्वघं पापा ये पचन्त्यात्मकारणात्. This one shloka itself will take 1 hour, but still we'll try to wrap it up faster. I know that we did see to some extent this shloka, but what he says is yajñashishtashinah santo. Yajna Shishta. Yajna, you all know, puja. Shishta means remnants, the remains of it. The remains of the yajna, eating that, people will, if they have that bhavam, that I am eating the yajna shishtam. Eating here means not necessarily food eating, it can be even enjoying, you can think of it. I get some money and I already think that this is just not my job. I already performed it as a yajna. I am getting this money. I'm using it, and while I'm using it, I will also just offer few money to the deserving needy, and the remains of it I will use it. That is one way to use the remnants, because this whole world is created. It's called Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, Vasudeva's family. We all are children of Vasudeva. That thought, who will have it? Vasudeva alone has that thought, will not work. Every one of us should have that. It is Vasudeva's Kudumbam. The person who is there in Africa with no food is part of my family, Vasudeva's family. So let me just donate $1, 1 rupiah, right? That is just enough, and the remaining I will use it. The giving, that is how we can use that remains. Like to have that mindset, like my family, my family, my family, my family. That pattern should be broken. Well, how do we define my family? Right? My family is too narrow. That if everyone starts living my family, then that is why we are not getting any rains. California is under drought because if everyone starts, how the next verse will answer that, why rains are not coming. The next verse is going to happen, but before we see that, I'll tell you one more thing. He says bhunjate te twagam papa, people who just do not even eat the yajna system, meaning I go to work, I earn, I get paid, and I eat. Why should I give it to anyone? I can eat perfectly legal. No one can ask, put you in prison, or book you in any case under any law in any of the countries, right? But moral laws that states that you will have to um, think about others also in mind. Now one more thing in here is, if you don't do that, if you just eat it for yourself, then Krishna is saying here that be that person eats pure papam, plates and plates of papam sitting in front of him. Just think about it. The whatever the dish, curry that you have, that pappu that you have, everything is this is a plate of papam, this is another plate of papam, that is equivalent to that. If someone just eats it, prepares his own food and eats it. The two levels of meaning. One level is every day we prepare food, preparing the food, offer that food, that annam should be offered to Krishna. Ideally we will have to carry whatever that is prepared, put it in front of Krishna and say Krishna Arpanamastu, and say some shlokas, whatever that is. And what shloka is not important, but that thought that we have in our mind is important. I eat this food for today because, not because of my efforts. There are millions of people who are struggling out of hunger. How come I be the one who is eating today? There is the possibility that I am one among that 1 million or people who are dying of hunger is very high. Easily I could have been one among them, but I was not. I was given the food. That means, right? One way to say is that I earned it, but again that will not work because we are using the body, and this body itself is operating beyond the control of ourselves. Internal organs are working because of that super soul. So we will have to just attribute that food that we got that day, every day, offer it and say that I prepared this food, Krishna Arpanamastu. I'm eating it because of you. Right? That is truthfully, honestly. We don't have to extensively. Half an hour puja and all are not needed. Half a second, heart, 100%. Say that and do that. Then we are freed from papam. if someone is not doing it, just cooking the food and preparing it and just relishing it, mouth watering food, yes, superb, then that person is eating papam. So what is it again? When you are offering to Lord, we know that we cannot offer everything to Lord, right? There are some, again, now whatever I'm saying that maybe not will not go well with you, but it is my responsibility, whatever it is there, I will have to say. Whether to incorporate that, how to incorporate that, I'm leaving it to you. So when we are offering to Krishna, we cannot prepare whatever that is there, and whatever that we think that non-vegetarian food, and then I offered it. So now it is free from all papams, and then I eat. That is not the way, right? So then we will naturally start scrutinizing, auditing what are the things that I'm eating, what are the things that I'm offering to God. So that will be another level of awareness that we will go through, right? So, and even all people are saying, even people like, if you read Bernard Shaw or Mahatma Gandhi, they all have ultimately declared that if humans value their own life so dearly, if you ask any human, their life is more dear to them. And yet, if humans go behind animals, then I don't know what to say, is what they are all saying. And still they are okay to take the life of those animals and eat them and make their own stomach a graveyard of such animals. That animals are lying in the stomach. What else is the name of that stomach, right? It's a graveyard. That's what people call it, right? Instead of human graveyard is outside, animal graveyard is inside the stomach of those who eat animal food, is what they are saying. So naturally, Vedas prohibit, and Vedas uh, prohibit himsa to any living being, that is, right? uh, do not hurt, do not hurt any individual, do not hurt any atma. That's what Veda Vakyam is also. So when we cannot go prepare some food with animal food and then offer it to Lord and say that that is my offering and I'm doing the perfect yajna, right? Naturally we will inspect our own food and then we will not offer that. So such things, one thing to consider, right? From bhakti point of view, from practicing karma yoga, if we cannot say that we are practicing the karma yoga when we start doing, unless we start doing that, offering whatever that is, including food, starting from food. Why? Because what we eat is what we are, what we eat is what we become. That's what African Americans here say that big time, right? Whatever that goes inside our mind, food in our mouth is what changes our mind. Example is this. So this sattvic food, tamasic food, rajasic, these are not food but gunas, right? Sattvic is, you know already what type of properties it is. Rajasic, we already know it is fire like, fire or redness or anger, these are all rajasic. Tamasic is a property which is something like a dull, not to think anything, there's no intelligence, stone, right? Or mud, clay, they all represent earth, they all represent uh, tamasic nature. And this body is made out of these three properties, because this body is nothing but made out of food that is obtained from this earth, right? And all food that is got from this earth has got these three properties: sattvic property, everything will be there. It's like that the nutrition facts that they write, right? Nutrition facts, ideally I wished that they had these three in that. Sattvic 46%, Rajasic 23%, something like that will help us determine. But we take more and more Rajasic food, our nature will become Rajasic, aggressive, anger will be more, pressure will be more, our nature will be restless, anxious, anxiety, right? Tamasic food you take, tamasic food leads to sleepiness, dullness, not so active. I want to eat a lot of rice. There will be sleepiness in the afternoon. If you see curd, these are all sleepiness, right? Eat light, that is okay, but eating a lot, again it introduces tamasic nature. Sattvic food is one that is moderate. It has moderation in spice, moderation in sweet, moderation in anything that you eat. Moderation is that key word when you are eating, especially food wise. Food is what is actually will transform that version 2.0, whatever that I mentioned in the beginning of it. Food is an most important, because food is what is making us every moment who we are. And again, Krishna didn't say anything about, he said offer the food, right? But he didn't say about it, this food is good, that food is not good. The reason is we will have to think about it, the cause and effect. If you eat this, then what happens? We all know, right? We give sugary foods to kids, then they are active. Cause is there, effect will be there. Same thing is true for us. Sugary foods are Rajasic foods. They will be active, just dance. Mind will be just dancing. Coke, Pepsi, you just wanted to be hyper, give them Coke or Pepsi. There is nothing like wrong, incorrect. Again, non-vegetarian is not wrong or incorrect. You think about it. It's for everyone to think about it. The more meat eaters, again, how does it affect our body? It again varies from individual to individual. I'm not saying that all meat eating is bad. Maybe some, for few people, body wise, it morally, even though they may or may not accept that Vedas or whatever that is said, physically they can easily relate. I ate this meat today, and how do my mentally, how am I responding? What are the effects? Again, there are no research yet, right? If you eat today morning, I had chicken, and afternoon and that day, how did it go? Who has the measure? It went well, or the next day I had vegetarian, the next day it went better than this. Who is going to say? Physically, not physically is one thing, right? Nothing happened to my stomach, that is one thing. Mentally, were you effective, efficient, were you more productive, right? So all those things only that individual can analyze. That is why the awareness will need to build. I'm eating this, what is happening to me mentally? Am I able to take decisions? Am I being more alert today than yesterday? That we can do only when we start staying alert and active, right? Being mindful of the actions that we do. So that is why in this shloka, especially, we cannot offer, at least for offering, when we say, we cannot offer randomly something. I did snake noodles and I offer to Krishna. That's not going to work. Let's see the next shloka. This is one of the important shlokas, so we have 8 minutes. I hope that we'll be able to finish it with this one. Annad bhavanti bhutani parjanyadanna sambhavah yajñād bhavati parjanyo yajñah karma samudbhavah. 14th shloka and 15th also should be read together. Karma brahmodbhavam vidhi brahmakshara samudbhavam tasmat sarvagatam brahma nityam yajñe pradishtitam. The most important verse, I would say, Food. Annad bhavanti bhutani. Bhutani is not that bhoot or pisach or any such thing, but here bhutani means all living beings. All living beings live on food, which we all know already, right? Without food, we will be like Mars or Jupiter or Uranus, where there is no life. So we all are human beings on earth because of food. And that food, annad, right? Anna is food. Annad bhavanti bhutani. Bhutani, living beings, exist because of food. Parjanyadanna sambhavah. And where do we get food? Food is because of crops that grow on this uh, earth. And that crops, how do they grow? They grow because of rains. Parjanya. Parjanya means rain. Parjanyad anna sambhavah. Yajnad bhavati parjanyo. Parjanya. Parjanya is rain. How do you get rain? Now Krishna places that key aspect. Yajnad bhavati parjanyo. When people practice yajna, then that brings rains. Yajna karma samudbhavaha. Where do yajna come from? Yajna arises from karma, which is actions. Whatever actions that we are performing. Now, actions, where do they come from? Karma brahmodbhavam vidhi. Brahmakshara samudbhavam. Tasmat sarvagatam brahma. So, that actions that we perform, it's originating from Brahma. Brahma is not that Brahma, Lord Brahma who has four faces. No, not that Brahma. That is Brahma. This is Brahmam, Brahma. Karma Brahmodbhavam Vriti. Brahma or Brahmam is that. What is that? That is that super soul of this universe, which we call with 1000 names, including Vishnu, Viswam, Vashatkaro, Bhutaha, Bhavyaha, Bhavat Prabhu, Bhutatma, Paramatma, Muktanam Paramagatihi. All those 1000 names are for that Brahman. That Brahman is, you can call it with any names, doesn't matter, but that is the one that is operating this entire universe. It is there everywhere. It is there right now in every fraction of square inch of space. It has completely occupied this entire universe. It is inside me, inside you. It is inside me right now, making me talk. It is inside you right now, making you all listen. Up to that, it is aware of everything. And it is Lokadyakshaha. Lokadyakshaha is witness of this world. It is witnessing everything that is happening, but is not involving in everything. Sitting inside me, it is witnessing me, my actions. And not only witnessing, it is the one that is inside me giving me actions. Whatever actions that I do, it is not I am doing it. That is where I said. So here he says that karma brahmodbhavam. Karma is from that Brahman, which is that one that is sitting here, sitting inside you, that is everywhere. Whatever actions that we do, we think that we are doing it, and we have to do it. Why do I have to join this company? It's so boring. We have been given that. Why does that I have to meet that person? I was just walking in the Las Vegas strip, and that person somehow he walked in front of me. I don't know why I have to meet that guy. We don't do that. Brahman is bringing such things right in front of us. Just think about it. Whatever that we are waking up, you're stepping outside your house, who you are going to meet, what is going to happen when you start your car, whether it's going to start, You can do that action, even that action also is Brahman. But what is going to happen, whether there is going to be a car behind, you're taking reverse, everything is being provided to you, and we react to that. And when we are reacting to those actions also, it is inside him who is giving us the energy to react. So every moment, every breath, to be more precise, accurate, is measured and given to us. Such actions that we do, we think that we are doing it, but they are all being made, sitting inside us. We are made to do. We are helped to do that action. And that is why the ownership is meaningless. Saying that I did it. Because every second, if someone is watching you and they are helping you to do it, and they are the one who is receiving it also. So that is why Brahman or Vishnu is indescribable. Because he is the one who is helping us do the actions. He is the one who is the other person, whoever who is approaching us and asking us to do that help is also that Brahman is sitting inside him and he is asking us to do. And whatever the actions that we are performing is also he is the one who is doing it. And the fruits of the actions is also that Brahman. And that receiver, once you do the yajna, you give that fruits to him. The receiver of the yajna, the fruits also is that Brahman. So everything is himself. That is why Advaitist used to say, Advaitist are one group of people where they are believer in only one thing, which is Brahma is the only one thing that exists in this world. Neither are you living, nor am I living, nor anyone is there in this world. Only that Brahma is living, because if that Brahma is inside me, if that Brahma is inside you, and Brahma is making me do, making you do, who else is there in this world? Think about it. Only that Brahma resides in this world, and that Brahma is doing all the actions and making this universe run. That is why people say that do not worry about it, everything he will take care of it, because finally he is the one who is running it, and the outcome results. Again, now it will make everything easier to understand, because worrying about the results, we don't have to worry about it, because when he is performing the actions, he will worry about the results. But one thing is there, then what else is that? Should I just sleep in my bed not doing anything? And what is the why I have to do the yajna? The questions, it will lead to a little bit of misinterpretation. Let me address that. when those when we are given an action, at that time a little bit of free will is given to us, little bit of window of free will, not much. That free will helps us to decide this action should be done or not. First, I cannot say that I will take a knife and then kill my neighbor and say that Brahman did it and I am doing it as a yajna. That's what this incorrectly some of the countries are doing it, right? To kill others and in the name of God. We are not talking about that. So that is an incorrect understanding or interpretation where we kill others and say that in the name of God I am doing it. No. That window of opportunity or window of will that is given to us, where whether this job is worth doing it or not, that brain is given to us. If he has to do everything, if he is doing everything, then he would not have given us the brain for us. Discrimination that we have to do, these are all not worth doing, right? Remove those actions that are not worth doing. That we had seen even in the second chapter itself. There are few actions that are not worth, we will not even involve, because the moment you think, if you are aware of every action, you will start seeing that this action which is just enjoying my, I wanted to smoke, let's say someone is there, he wants to enjoy a nice good smoke, and that person goes out and says that I recently heard Bhagwad Gita, so let me smoke, but I will do it as a yajna. How about it? No. That is why we have been given that brain, that what actions, choose the right actions, and right actions when you are involved, dedicate that to as a yajna. Wrong actions obviously are ruled out. Wrong actions in the sense actions that are inferior, that we have seen already in the last second chapter itself. Those actions should be removed from our existence. So naturally, once we start living the way of life this way, our actions will be refined. We will avoid most of the actions. We know for sure that I cannot perform this as a yajna, so let me not even do this. Let me not even do this. Let me not. So naturally, you see that we are becoming a better and improvised version of ourselves, where we are no longer doing those actions that are inferior, and we will start to think what are the superior actions I can perform yet and offer to him. So we will start acquiring or integrating more better actions into our life, and that also when we are performing, we will perform it as a yajna, so that we will offer the results to him, and that mamakaram and ahankaram will slowly start decaying, decomposing, and it will be dead in us. That is the perfect state of established inner peace and happiness, is the meaning of these verses. We will see rest of the verses in our next session. मङ्गलाशासनरैर्मदाचार्य पुरोगमैः सर्वैश्च पूर्वैराचार्यै सत्कृतायास्तु मङ्गलम्. Thank you very much, everyone. सर्वं श्रीकृष्णार्पणम्.